Like, we have Hurricane Hunter right here.
That's right. I'm the Hurricane Hunter, and I'm guessing you're Clark Kent?
That's right. Perfect. You know, that's all I am, Clark Kent. No big deal.
I know. We're definitely celebrating the Halloween spirit here on the show tonight. But one of the spirits that we're going to be celebrating is the winter coming this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow our high is not even to 60. Can you believe that?
That's going to be absolutely crazy. I don't know if I'm prepared for this, and I think this cool weather is going to catch a lot of people off guard.
It definitely is, because, you know, you can't really tell from today. It didn't rain. We didn't see, like, typical cold front conditions coming through for this.
So you're definitely not going to be breaking a sweat, but you're going to want to get out those heavy jackets because you're certainly going to need them tomorrow and especially into Sunday.
That's right, but good news is we get into Monday and Tuesday, it's not going to be as bad. We'll be getting back up into the 70s, which will be kind of nice.
Yeah, it's going to feel beautiful into next week, but the Halloween tonight is what we're definitely going to be focusing on right now.
Yeah, we know after the sun goes down that the temperatures are going to start to go down rather quick because we're going to see a low somewhere in the 40s. I mean, we'll get to that a little bit later on, but it's going to be around there, isn't it?
Absolutely. Once that sun sets, those temperatures are going to start to tank for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not too good at all, but thankfully they get all the trick-or-treating done early, so they don't need to worry about it.
Absolutely. So definitely stay bundled up if you're trick-or-treating tonight, and definitely be safe on the roads out there. But right now we're going to send it on over to our magician for our overview.
Not too often you get to see a levitating magician here or a levitating forecast. Unfortunately, the winds are keeping me aloft here. Lots of wind coming in from the north, and there's just a couple of sprinkles moving in across northern Alabama and northern Georgia, and these are actually going to turn into some snowflakes, turning into some very cold weather across the mountains of North Georgia and North Carolina, as well as possibly even to South Carolina with 1 to 3 inches of snow there. Some very early snowfall for the late October time. And we've got that cold air coming as well. Breezy day tomorrow. We're talking winds of 10 to 20 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon. And then really cold morning on Sunday morning. We're talking temperatures not getting above 40 degrees on Friday morning, not getting above 60 degrees as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And finally, we're going to be warming up. But for tonight, though, we're looking at 42 degrees. Nothing to scare away the trick-or-treaters tonight, but it will begin to get a little bit more breezy as we head into early tomorrow morning. Be aware for that, and be aware for Clark Kent and our Hurricane Hunter there with some more weather.
Thanks a lot, John. Well, you know, it's going to get a little cold here, but nothing what the Carolinas are going to see over the next few days.
Absolutely. We actually just got in the latest reports from the National Weather Service, the latest forecast, and they're expecting quite a snowfall event up there in the mountains.
Yeah, they're going to see, what, 4 to 6 inches they were talking about?
They're expecting 4 to 6 inches of accumulation of snow and possibly 10 in some isolated spots.
Yeah, that could mean if they get enough of this over the next month or so, you could see those ski resorts up there open up pretty early.
Absolutely. If you're getting ready to go skiing, you may be seeing the ski holidays come around early this year.
Yeah, there'll be a lot more powder on the ground for you guys. If you head on up during Christmas break, it'll be a lot bigger base. Instead of being like, 19, 20, it could be up to 30 for that, which is really strange for the Carolinas.
Absolutely. This definitely gives people a warning to get prepared for the winter because it could be another brutal winter. But for now, we're going to send it out to the Mad Hatter to tell us a little bit more about what's going on here.
Hey everybody, how you doing today? Happy Halloween. So we got some clear skies in the Big Bend region for today. Beautiful day today, nice weather. Some of you like to wear your costumes on the way to class today. I did myself. So we had nothing to worry about that way. But for now, we're looking at 75 degrees. A little bit of clouds out there. I don't remember seeing any on the way into the studio today. But the dew point's sitting at 36. Very dry air there for today. And I'm going to have a sip of a cup of my tea right here. Wow, the humidity low as well as that dew point. But on the beaches for this next day or two, it's not going to be a very good beach day. Those cold temperatures coming in is not going to be a compliment to beach wear. And that surf is going to be a little high with the UV index a little bit low, so you wouldn't have to worry about sunscreen on a sunny day tomorrow. And I can get this onto the next graphic here. There we go. And on the water, there's going to be plenty of waves. It's not a very good, advisable day to go out on your watercraft. Gale warning, that means we have tropical storm force winds as gusts, and it's going to be very windy and choppy, up to 15-foot seas in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. So please don't go out on your boats tomorrow very far. We are going to be seeing these winds coming off of the coast, stirring up those seas. But for now, these cold temperatures are coming from those winds coming from the north, all the way from Canada and even from Alaska. These winds have come from. They were cold up there, and they're going to sweep all the way down through the country. And we're going to see they're going to persist from the northwest throughout the weekend here and through tonight, giving us those cooler temperatures. And this cold front, second cold front, we had a cold front come through yesterday, And that one just dried us out, and this one's really going to bring that cool weather, clear out those skies a lot, and that low pressure sitting outside of South Carolina right now is going to move on out, bringing that cold, really cold air for us. We're not going to expect that. We don't normally expect that usually, but we're going to get that Arctic blast, that air coming from the northwest, bringing those cool temperatures. So we're going to see those trick-or-treater time. We're going to come out right here at sunset. It's not going to be too cold. It's only going to be 65, but don't let that deceive you because it's going to get a lot cooler as we move into the evening. So maybe for after trick-or-treating, you're going to want to bring a jacket along so you don't get too cold on the way home because we don't want your kids getting too cold there. We all know we don't like to being too cold. 42 degrees for the low temperature tonight. So that is going to be a beautifully cold morning. So if you're going to have an early start tomorrow, it might be a good idea to bring that heavy winter coat out for those really cool temperatures to start out the season. For tomorrow, we're not going to break out of the 50s because of that Arctic air. Again, it's going to be breezy, windy day, so maybe a windbreaker might help you out there. And looking out for the rest of the week, it's going to be pretty cool for the weekend with the time change. And I'm going to ask Ulises here if he's going to like a cup of tea.
Oh, I will, because it's going to be really chilly tonight. Thanks, Mr. Hatter. As we look at the current conditions here in the southeast, 75 in Tallahassee, 59 in Atlanta, 55 in Tupelo. You can see that cool air beginning to dip, especially over the northern portion of the southeast. But Miami is still toasting and baking at 85 degrees. While we look at the rest of the dew points in the southeast, you notice a lot of that dry air starting to come in, especially from the plains. 33 in Little Rock, 36 in Tallahassee. It's all marching its way down. You're going to notice even some areas already beginning to experience some fire weather watches close to Tallahassee by the time we go into tomorrow, into Sunday, and it's actually in effect all day tomorrow. You can notice a lot of that orange from that water vapor loop just rotating all throughout the Sunshine State and the southeast, and that's how pretty much conditions are going to remain for the rest of the weekend. But the key issue, as you see, very dry overall. Sun will be raining for most of the Gulf Coast overall, but there's actually going to be some winter weather to talk about over the Appalachian Mountains. Winter storm warning in effect until Sunday morning in Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, and even into South Carolina. Actually, mountains up to 5,000 feet or higher expected to get up to 18 inches of snow, around 2,500 feet, about 2 to 3 inches of snow. So just brace yourself. If you're in the Appalachian Mountains, just take yourself an extra drive if you're driving in that ice and snow. The winds, however, you're going to feel that tonight and in tomorrow. That's really going to make the weather very unpleasant. Temperatures will feel about 10 degrees cooler than what they actually feel outside. You notice the winds overall are coming out of the northwest between 10 to 20 miles per hour. There's actually gale warnings in effect all throughout the Gulf Coast from New Orleans all the way into Tampa. And there's also gale warnings on the Atlantic coast throughout the Carolinas, which actually storm warnings even further off coast into South Carolina, extending into New England. Overall, it's going to be a rough weekend overall on the waters throughout the Gulf and the Atlantic. So you may just have to hold on to it to the next weekend. When we go into the futurecast, temperatures are definitely going to take that nosedive. Yummy hot cocoa is expected, 20s in Kansas and 60 degrees in Tampa, just holding on to that heat, but it's going to be gone overall. Even Miami still trying to hang on as we go into our Saturday, but those temperatures continue to tumble. 26 degrees in Montgomery on Sunday morning. Brr. Tonight's low, 33 in Montgomery, 32 in Tupelo, 57 in Orlando. Tomorrow, we're going to struggle to hit 60 for most of us, but still 77 in Miami. Overall, sun, 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 and we're going to send it over with Unikitty.
Thank you. But besides Unikitty, it's Paxton as well. But hey, Unikitty, do you have any plans later tonight on this special Halloween?
No, actually, I can't find anything to do. What do we do here for Halloween at FSU?
Well, we actually have the Haunted Harvest here in Oglesby Union later on tonight. So if you don't have plans, go out there. There's a bunch of free activities where you could carve pumpkins, you could make paint-a-pot things. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and also I heard that they have ghost tours happening every half hour. That sounds scary, Paxton. Is it gonna be scary?
It's a little spooky, just a little bit, but you know what? You don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
You can also enter costume contest. You would do awesome in that.
Costume? I'm not wearing a costume.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm totally kidding. But right now, we have a wealth of information about this, but someone else who knows wealth is Robin Hood.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to be talking about a lot of interesting weather we have occurring over this weekend. Definitely an active weekend for tomorrow's forecast, you're going to notice those temperatures. They are cool. We have cool temperatures for much of the area for tomorrow, and that's going to be bringing us with some cold temperatures for much of the week. We have a cold front that is moving on through the area. We can expect lows in the 40s and 50s tonight for much of the southeast, so a cold night is expected. Bear with us, we are working on our graphics right now, but we have a cold winter expected, or cold front expected for you, as we have a strong low pressure system that's moving across much of the eastern coast. It will be bringing us cold temperatures for much of this weekend. So overnight here, especially in Tallahassee, you can expect yourselves to want to keep yourself warm, because it's going to be a cold one. You can see now we have the graphics up. You can see cold temperatures are expected for much of the area, as I was speaking about. We have some trouble, and especially around the lake, upper lakes. You can see here Lake Michigan is dealing with already some snow. So these cold temperatures are already providing the first real precipitation in terms of snow in much of these areas in the north. You can see as these will continue to push down as it gets colder overnight, you can expect lake effect snow for areas such as Lake Michigan and Superior and Huron. So definitely going to be bringing some snow for them there. And that's not all we have in terms of snow. You can see as we move off into the west coast, they have a low pressure system that's moving across that's bringing some much needed precipitation, as we have precipitation moisture moving into California. Overnight, they can expect to have some near the Rockies and the higher mountain areas expect some snow. So they will be getting their first snow of the season as this moisture continues to push off towards the east overnight. You can see this winter storm warning is here, the pink, and you have the winter weather advisory in the purple. So they can expect some snow overnight, especially in the Rockies. So precipitation is much needed. Now, as you look at the future cast, this is that low pressure system I was speaking about that is situated over the northeast. It will continue to drive that Arctic cold air behind it, pushing towards the east, bringing some early season mountain snow for areas in North Carolina, expecting 2 to 3 inches in the Carolinas, which is something that they have not seen yet this season. So cold air should be pushing across this strong system and bringing cold winter weather for much of the area. Blustery winds. It's going to be very windy behind this, so expect some blustery conditions with a lot of wind from much of the southeast, and that will continue to move on, bringing that Arctic blast from much of the area. And as we move on into the rest of the region, you can see winter weather advisories continue. So we're going to have cold weather for much of the southeast and Midwest. Unfortunately, it's going to be a cold one. We have freeze warnings for pretty much most of the Midwest. You can see those winter weather advisories towards the east in the Carolinas. So unfortunately, it's going to be a very cold winter or cold start to your weekend for much of the area of the United States. But we're going to send it off to Donovan with more on the local.
All right, thanks, Robin Hood. Yeah, we're taking a look at tonight's forecast and tomorrow. Rather warm in a lot of places in the U.S. Again, we had that cold front move in yesterday. We've been feeling the effects of that today. We'll talk about that just some more in a minute. But we're looking at some of the spooky things that have happened here in Tallahassee in Halloween's past. Our record high for Halloween was 88 degrees. Our lowest high, 52. Record low below freezing, 30 degrees. We don't expect to get anywhere near that right now. In fact, it's a really nice Halloween. If you look outside your door right now, you'd see 73 degrees outside and very few clouds. That dew point, notice that's dropping very far away from our current temperatures and our high temperatures. You can expect drier weather with that. You might want to bring some chapstick into this weekend. You might, if you're prone to get that, you're going to need some chapstick. Current temperatures around the Big Bend region. Monticello's at 71. Up there in Georgia, much of the same. Low 70s. Basically across the board. Quincy is our hot spot, 75 degrees. We're looking at these winds. You notice these are moving in from the northwest currently, and that's due to that cold front that moved in the past couple of days. We expect these winds to be moving from that direction. We're actually going to talk about that more in just a few moments, but first we're going to look at what's going on in the atmosphere above the Big Bend region. We're not seeing a lot of clouds out there, a lot of sunshine, no moisture in the air, so it's going to be a very nice night to be out for Halloween this evening. Definitely, have some plans made for that. Here's our, we're talking about advective cooling moving in from Canada, and that just means any drastic change in temperatures and conditions. In this case, it is cooling. And for this to occur, we need some strong winds, which we may be getting, this cold air moving in from the north, so we can actually expect this to happen. It's going to be dry outside and cool. But let's talk about what's going on just for tonight. Here in Tallahassee, we expect 67 degrees. 70 down in Apalachicola, basically much of the same across the region. And we're going to take it into Saturday morning. You can see temperatures are dropping, 45 when you get up in the morning, going on through Saturday afternoon. We should be pretty low, 56 degrees. That's way lower than what we're used to. That could be approaching some record low maximum temperatures here for Tallahassee. And we're looking into Sunday morning, 40 degrees. Some parts of the area are going to be in the 30s. So we don't expect any freezing or anything like they're getting up in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina. But it is jacket weather, 42 degrees here in Tallahassee for going into Sunday morning. And we're just going to take a look at Saturday, 59 degrees. It's going to be comfortable but cool for sure. And then more sunshine ahead for the 7-day forecast. We're taking a look. Notice that clock there between Saturday and Sunday. We are going to be gaining an hour of sleep this week, so it's going to be very nice. We're pretty low today and tomorrow, but getting back up into the 70s and 80s next week with some chances of precipitation. But for now, let's send it back to the desk to talk about more.
Thank you, Donovan. Now, today in weather history. Can you tell us more about that, Paxton?
I sure can. Well, back in 1965, in the Fort Lauderdale area, they were drenched with about 13.8 inches of rain in less than 24 hours.
Wow, that's amazing.
It sure is, and that brought their October all-time record, which still holds today, to 42.4 inches.
Wow, that's a lot of rain. And also, in 1989, New England had more than 1.5 inches of rain in 6 hours.
That is crazy. They also had some snow in there, didn't they?
Yes, they did, which made icy roads the next morning around Denver, made for a rather spooky commute, and just kept going.
I'm sure.
And
I'm sure it did, but lucky for us in Florida, we don't have to worry about any of that. No rain, no snow, nothing. It's just absolutely clear outside, and that fun stuff, and it's great and sunny and really awesome. But we do have some cold temperatures, which will be sticking around with us for quite some time, bringing in those clouds and everything with the cold front and all of that. But you know what? Looking at this satellite radar, like I was saying, it is nice and clear. We have a little bit of this low pressure system off to the east of us, so it's not affecting our weather. It's moving, it's gone, but we might get a little bit of rain associated with the front that will be coming tonight. Most likely not. It's just going to stay dry since we already have a lot of dry air in our area, which is right here. We have that nice swoop of dry air, and more will be coming in tonight, going into tomorrow. And the current winds right now, they are northerly, 10 miles per hour. You can see that front is coming from the north and is coming down into our area, sliding in. And you can also see that in central Florida, we have northerly winds as well. And that's due to that front that came in about 2 days ago. So we had northerly winds across the state in 2 fronts across the state as well. Currently, it is 73 in Tallahassee. And once that sun sets, those lows will be dropping even more. And the clouds will be dissipating as well. And the dew points, you can see that it's 37 Tallahassee. We have not seen 30-degree dew points in quite some time, so that's just showing you how strong this front is, how cold it is, and how dry this air is as well, making our humidity values a lot lower than what we are used to. And in the last 24 hours, we are 2 degrees difference between today and yesterday at this time. So we were still a tad bit cool, but going tomorrow, we're going to be significantly cooler as that front sweeps through. We do have a gale warning on the Big Bend region and the Panhandle of Florida, and we have one off to the East Coast as well. And we also have some wind advisories, which are these tannish colors. So if you go outside, just be careful, and especially if you go boating, try not to, basically, because those gale warnings, you can have wind gusting up to 45 miles per hour, which is extremely strong and not safe at all. In South Florida, all this is just chaff. It's no storms. It's just clear down there. So if you have plans to make it down there, don't worry about it. This is basically just the radar being a little funky on this Halloween. It wants to join us in the festivities. For tonight, it's going to be 42 in Tallahassee. So if you do have plans to go outside, make sure you bundle up and all of that. And you also want to take into account that wind chill. With that wind going on, it could be in the upper 30s as well. So bundle up, bring those jackets. Just be aware of those temperatures. And then tomorrow, we don't even break the 60s. It is 59 degrees, super sunny, great for us. But right now, we're going to go hand this on over to Matthew, about the tropics.
That's right, Paxton. I am here as a hurricane hunter today, and it couldn't be even better because we've got the tropical update. And I've got the latest here straight from the plane to tell you what's going on out in the tropical Pacific and the Atlantic. But let's take a look at the season so far. We went through these storms all the way up to Hannah. Our biggest and most powerful storm we saw a couple of weeks ago was Gonzalo. So now that that's gone, really nothing to worry about here in the Atlantic, but it's the Pacific where we have the latest information. This is Tropical Storm Vance right here. Really a lot of disorganized convection at this time, not a whole lot visible here on satellite. So it's not, it doesn't have its act together quite yet, but it will in the coming days. Let's take a look at the latest on Vance here in the Eastern Pacific. It's moving west-southwest, so it's moving a bit south at 6 miles per hour, and the gusts are to 58 miles per hour at this time, and it's a tropical storm with just a pressure of 1,004 millibars. So nothing too crazy right now, but let me put my information away, and we're going to take a look at that cone. So this storm is expected to get its act together here and turn into a Category 1 hurricane. Nothing too serious, just a fish storm right now over the ocean. But Mexico, you're going to want to watch this one closely because this will be taking a turn back and bending inland. So some flooding, some serious threats of flooding could be a possibility in portions of Mexico, which they've already been hit quite hard this season. But now let's bring it back home because there's nothing in the Atlantic to talk about, so let's talk about our Halloween forecast. But our current conditions as you walk outside, 73 degrees, and that's pretty much the story around the area. Montgomery, you're 67, and Macon, you're 64. Once the sun goes down, those temperatures are going to take a nosedive, and we're going to start to feel winter onset into the area. Tonight's forecast, we can see these deep blues ushering in that cool weather. So winter's here, fall we're saying goodbye to. We got 42 degrees calling for here in Tallahassee. In the Big Bend region, Panama City, you're going to be the cool spot here at 38 degrees. But the rest of the peninsula, you're feeling quite comfortable actually for this time of year. So you're going to see quite a bit of a cool down, especially in parts of South Florida, which they're not used to this cool weather. So definitely get prepared for this type of weather. But tomorrow, as you're walking outside, what are you going to feel like when you're recovering from tonight? Well, you're going to feel like this. It's going to be beautiful, and we may not see those, with those wind chills, these temperatures break out of the 50s for the remainder of the day. We may see a couple peaks of 60s here in the metro area, but it's going to be feeling like winter for sure. So 59 here in Tallahassee, 60s elsewhere in parts of Georgia and into Alabama. And then the rest of the peninsula, you're in the 60s as well. 66 in Orlando, 66 in Tampa, and 62 in Gainesville. Well, I just got off the plane. It was a great ride into the storm on the Hurricane Hunters, but now we're going to send it back to the desk where we have Gandalf and the Magician to tell us more.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Right on time as always, because wizards are never late.
Now, sometimes some of your creatures do have to worry about some fire weather.
Yes, this is true. The hobbits of the Shire do love their crops, and crops around here in North Florida could be in danger of some freezing conditions as well as fire.
Well, more so the fire this go around than the freezing conditions. I think the winds are going to keep us from getting down to 32 degrees.
Yes, those storms will be blowing their way through the region. Windy conditions overall. No rain associated with them, of course.
It is going to be dry, though, which is going to create maybe a little bit of fire condition, especially towards the end of the weekend. There's a fire weather watch out for the entire area.
Yes, indeed. Anyone handling fire, magicians especially, should be very careful. One spell gone awry could set the whole of North Florida on fire, so we do want to be careful.
Something else that's flying right on by, I hear Superman's here. Oh, wait, we're not supposed to say that,
Indeed,
right?
Indeed.
Now, but we have to unleash a little bit of a secret. There's going to be cold air on the way. Clark?
Guys, not supposed to tell anyone anything about that. That's a big secret, okay? Well, right now we're going to look at our Halloween satellite for tonight. You see, we're not really going to have a whole lot of cloud coverage, which is good, so no chance of rain for us tonight during trick-or-treating. Looking at our current conditions, though, 73 degrees. When we first started the show, we were at 76, so you can see how quickly the temperature is going down. You see that the dew point's 37, and lower dew point, low humidity means the temperatures will go down a lot quicker. Well, for around the Big Bend, our temperatures, like I said here, 73, a little bit warmer as you get down to St. Mark's at 75. Looking up north in some parts of Georgia, already getting down to low 70s and 60s there. For our futurecast, well, we had that little bit of fall, but for right now we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to that because we're going to have a little bit of winter coming our way because we have this low pressure coming down from the north that's going to feed us down into the 50s for tomorrow for a high, which is really unbelievable because we were just seeing 90s just a few days ago. You can see all this cold air is going to come on down and really give us just that Arctic weather. Feels like Arctic weather coming in to our area. It's going to have mid to upper 30s for a low. So it's not a whole lot of fun at night, so make sure you get back early to avoid those temperatures. Well, on the water, we got really strong winds, 30 knots, 5 to 8 feet, so not a whole lot of surfing, not a whole lot of boating going on there, 5 to 8 feet. So we have the gale warning out, which means it'll be about the same as a tropical storm, even though we don't have one. So go ahead and just cross out any beach plans off your list, because even it will be cloudy tomorrow and it will be very, very windy. So even if you did want to go to the beach, that sand will be blowing all over the place. Not a lot of fun there. Well, tonight's forecast, we're down to 42 degrees. You can see we're sitting at 73 right now. That's a huge drop, 30 degrees in just about 6 hours or so. Partly cloudy skies that will clear by morning, but when we wake up tomorrow, you're going to feel all that wind and all that cold weather. So not too great. So we're going to see the high tomorrow in the 50s. Not too great there. Well, here's our plan for tomorrow. But when you wake up, it'll be 41 degrees. Thankfully, those clouds will be gone. It'll still be cool as we get into the noon times. And through the afternoon, it will not cross 60 at all. As you can see, by 5, it'll only be 58. And it will be very, very breezy, unfortunately, for us. But there's a little bit of good news aside from this cold weather. We do have fallback that's coming in. It's because, you know, spring forward and fall back. This is the good one. You get an extra hour of sleep. So that's really nice there. Lastly, we're going to take a look at our week ahead with the 7-day forecast. Like we've been telling you all day, we got 59 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday, coming back up into normal conditions into the week. And we're seeing those lows start to get pretty low for the next few days. You see 36 is the big time low right there on Sunday. But for right now, we're going to wrap stuff up with Gandalf and Mr. Magician.
Unfortunately, we've got a little bit of Elsa with us too, with some from winter type weather.
Yeah, so dangerous Elsa. Not a big fan of her weather around here, after all. And remember, if you do encounter any ice on the roads, take heed of those famous words, "You shall not pass."
Those northerly winds are going to be strong as well. Hope you're not trying to make your way towards the north. It's going to be quite a bit of a headwind if you're heading towards the north.
Indeed, indeed. Dangerous conditions in the skies overall, especially those winds keeping the seas very choppy around here.
Yeah, if you're going south, you're going to get there real quick because of those northerly winds, upwards of 40 miles an hour in some parts of the Gulf this weekend.
Indeed, but the skies will be beautiful overall.
Yeah, look at those sunshines for the next 4 days. It's going to take a while to warm up and get rid of Elsa, but we're going to be back up towards 80 degrees by Wednesday.
Indeed, looking forward to some warmer conditions again, but not minding the cold while it's here. We jumped right over fall and landed in winter, didn't we?
Yeah, fortunately we're going back to fall in a couple of days, back up towards 80 degrees with temperatures climbing back into the 50s for lows, but we're not going to allow you to disappear quite yet. We need those photos here of the great weather here over the next couple of days. If you see any icicles, if you're heading to the Carolinas mountains, send those to us on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter. You'll find us at FSU Weather.
Yes, if you like the show, tune in anytime on livestream.com and watch us 6 p.m. every night. Signing off tonight, I'm Gandalf alongside Mr. Magician here.
Lots of things happening this weekend. Enjoy Halloween.